Hi there, ladies and gentlemen. The Echo Man is here. It has been a while ever since I showed up on the Echo. Unfortunately, as you probably know, Media Bridges is been shut down, I guess. Well, according to what Tom Bishop, the CEO, I mean the director of Media Bridges says, it is still broadcast programs, but they don't have capability to give us their studios anymore. Anyway, lots of my friends ask me about my opinion and my take on what is happening in Ukraine. Um, I wanted to tell you that I'm not a big fan of Putin at all. Um, However, I guess in this case, he has more sense than the other guys here in North America and also Europe. I'll tell you why. Because if you remember at the time of the Bush, the junior one, the more idiot Bush, what I'm trying to say, actually America with Israel and with the help of the Georgian Republic Army invaded part of Russia. You probably don't remember, but I can refresh your mind. And if you remember, it was the Republic of Ossetia, which was really a part of Russian Federation. In case of Ukraine, even though Ukraine is a sovereign nation now, but for a long time it was a part of Soviet Union. Um, and what America has done is just like invading Puerto Rico by Canadians. I mean, of course, Puerto Rico is not one of United States direct state, but it's kind of a part of the American territory. So any country invading Puerto Rico, basically declaring war to United States of America, which in this case is very funny because that has never been happened. We did have some terrorist act recently, which was really, I would say, it wasn't any kind of threat, external threat. It was more like, there is a shadow government inside of this government, which, by the way, doesn't have any power. This government just making sure that, people are in line and they're not gonna revolt against the real owners of this country, who are the multinational corporations, and they're not mom and pop corporation. I'm not talking about all corporations. I'm talking about the monopoly in the world that is taking over like the whole world. Like recently, we heard that Time Warner also is about to be bought by Comcast. So we're reaching to the real monopoly in the United States. As John D. Rockefeller says, competition is the biggest sin. He said it jokingly, but in reality, that's what he said. This is his agenda, that America and also the whole world is going towards one just monopoly, huge monopoly. There is no competition, no other choice. So far, you had choice because that circle is becoming smaller and smaller and smaller. You reach to the point that you realize that you are living in a big prison known as planet Earth. But that would be very sad. So, the World War III is already here. So, Putin, when he actually avoided the full-fledged and openly World War III at the time of Bush, he really avoided. Like, I got to tell you, like, I don't like any of these globalists. I don't like Bush. I don't like Putin. I don't like any of them. Even I don't like Gorbachev, for that matter, who introduced the Soviet Union to the so-called freedom. However, I should kind of categorize the craziness, the level of craziness among the globalists. I believe not all of them are completely crazy or psychopath for that matter. Maybe Putin is psychopath in many, many things, but World War Three is not one of them. World War Three, he doesn't like that because he wants to keep the status quo as it is. And to be honest with you, he has been a little bit, not little bit, he has been a successful leader in that region. So basically, he kind of is pissed. Like, enough is enough. Like, you first, at the time of Bush, you come and invade a part of my federation, and now you come and invade, I mean, do a coup d'etat um, in one of my territories. I mean, yeah, Ukraine is a sovereign nation, blah, 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 but in reality, let's face it, like, Ukraine had been, for 70 years, had been part of Soviet Union, and it is in the process of becoming a full-fledged nation. However, so I mean, Russia, Federation of Russia, cannot tolerate any kind of coup d'état just under his nose. So his reaction is totally valid and logical. So this is the answer to my friends, and this is my take on it. Then the other thing is, you don't know. We are already in the World War Three. It's an invisible war. It's silent. It's very quiet, and you probably don't know because you're too busy checking your status on Facebook, on your iPhone, on your Galaxy, whatever, Samsung Galaxy, or your iPad, or these other gadgets that surprisingly with a very low price are available everywhere now. Don't Aren't you surprised? Like, don't you want to find out why? I tell you why. Because while we are looking at these things all the time, instead of, like, I go to public places sometimes and I see young men and women, as soon as they come face to face to me, instead of like before, it used to be when you're eye to eye with someone, for being polite, I say, how you doing? Or, having a good day or whatever, like, have a small talk about the weather, whatever. But now, it's not that thing at all. You come across a young man or a woman, I mean, young man or woman, and after a smirk, which I don't understand what is that, they immediately, put that thing in front of them and kind of block your view and kind of avoid you. So while you are busy checking the unreal stuff on that gadget, the government, or the shadow government, I should say, which the government is kind of like, they're kind of like the advertisement agency. The U.S. government really doesn't have any power. They're like Mr. President, or Mr. Hussein, Osama, I mean Obama, whatever his name is, really is the spokesperson of this huge corporation, also known as the United States Inc., which has a headquarter actually. The local headquarter is in Washington, D.C., and the real headquarter is in London. But I'm talking about the city of London, the smaller part with the banks and stuff like that. And you can go and check it. It's not something nowadays. Is um, if you reveal like the biggest secret, nobody is um, paying any attention because you're so busy with your either problems and they enslave you with the problems, or you're so kind of brainwashed that you really think that you're living in a free world and this guy is crazy and these other people are completely crazy. And while you're thinking that, and while you're basically making yourself busy with really worthless stuff on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, or with your gadget, they are spraying your sky with chemicals. And let's make that clear. They're not. There was a time that they completely denied it. There was a time that they would say, "Are you, well, you're crazy, you're a lunatic, you're just like one of those conspiracy theorists, and you put like aluminum foil on your head and stuff like that." But now, after basically uh, evidence after evidence after evidence, because in this case, evidence is right there in the sky. There are lines in the sky, and they're not contrails, because contrails goes away after 5 to maximum 10 minutes. They don't stay there. So we are talking about the stuff that is stick in the sky. They never go away. And actually, after a while, if you pay attention instead of looking at your gadget, if you pay attention and look up, first you see the lines. First you wake up and it's blue sky, and then some airplanes come and like spray the air with the lines, and then after 2 hours you have fake clouds. Okay, and they're not denying anything. Just Google geoengineering. Their excuse is that they're preventing global warming. And you could even um, Google weather modification program. It's sponsored by government. Uh, but surprisingly, when you check the website, they say their biggest clients are big agriculture. It's funny because Monsanto actually is paying for uh, that. What they mean by big agriculture is Monsanto and any company like Monsanto. And then the other client is hydroelectric, because when there is not enough water, then they cannot produce electricity. So they actually see the clouds and stuff. They're claiming they use dry ice, but dry ice is too expensive to do that. So nowadays, what they're doing, I mean, this is their claim again. What they're doing, and in the seminars, and that these geoengineers, by the way, is like the new business. It's the new pharmaceutical business. What they do, they in their seminars and meetings, they suggest that spraying the sky with sulfur and also aluminum powder. But I tell you what, it's not just that, because once you send these airplanes, and by the way, according to the news, when India and Nigeria forced landed these mysterious airplanes, it turned out they have been rented. The uh, rental huge airplanes. They're actually Ukrainian airplanes. Then you see the connection between Ukraine and United States, and stuff like that. I don't want to go there. However, once you send them in the sky, then if you're a military person, if this is military, which is a part of military plan, like they use the bases, military bases in outside of United States and also United States. So once something is military, believe me, they're not just going to spray sulfur and aluminum powder, which, by the way, like aluminum powder is way too dangerous. It's actually aluminum, the existence of aluminum in your brain causes actually Alzheimer. Alzheimer is caused by aluminum. This is a fact, and everybody can uh, find out about it. You can just go and take a visit of even mainstream medical websites actually say that. However, the military, once they send the airplane, they're not gonna just stay there and watch like these airplanes are spraying sulfur. They're gonna do other stuff, other experiments. They're gonna test their weapons, new biological weapons, new radioactive weapons. I mean, any kind of weapons that they want to use. And that, by the way, somebody say, "What is your evidence on that?" Well, it just turned out that they have done it before. It has been documented. It has been the journalists actually talked about it. It has been on news. But unfortunately, Americans have really short memory. Like they don't even remember Sandy Hook. When you talk about Sandy Hook, they say Sandy Hook. What? Um, that recently I just watched one of the videos. I haven't checked myself the social security, the stuff that this guy is presenting over there, but I'm pretty much sure that basically there was nothing going on in Sandy Hook, and it was a big, not because of, I don't need the evidence when everything is controversial in the news. When first they say they found a weapon inside of the school, but then they find it in the car trunk, and when everything is kind of confusing even for the reporters themselves. And when two of the reporters, report in the parking lot of, probably near the Sandy Hook, but they claim it was, via satellite, and everything was it. So basically, I don't need more than that of a proof, because once you lie, you probably lie about the whole thing. Once you lie, this is just a common sense. So we are in World War III. They're spraying and it is very interesting because you can't do anything about that because it's in the sky. You can't do anything about it. You can, you even if you carry a weapon, what do you want to do? Like, you can't shoot it with a Kalashnikov. It's over there. So we are helpless in that matter because we really, except few of us, don't care about the future of us, our children, our grandchildren. Really, everything is so lunatic. Like our government would do that. Really, you forgot that the same system of government, this uh, fake two-party system, told us that there was a weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, and just turned out there wasn't any. So, come on. Yeah, the government would do that, because the government really is advertising agency for these other corporations, like multinational corporations that are, doing everything behind the scene. So, the World War III is here. They're spraying the air with not only sulfur, aluminum, but also other crap they put in the air. Number one. Number two, this blocking the sun has a very, very awful effect on human mood. Why? Because basically your body stop you know, creating serotonin and dopamine in your bloodstream, and hence people get depressed. And that's why, like, for instance, in case of, like, I was studying Gustav Jung. Carl Gustav Jung is really, he should be named, like everybody knows Freud, but Carl Gustav Jung was the person that kind of combined the ancient knowledge with the modern knowledge that Freud suggested. Which, Carl Gustav Jung, in many cases, was totally, you know, against the Freudian theory in many cases. However, he accepted some of it, some basic things that Freud suggested. Anyway, Carl Gustav Jung, one of the things that he had, one of the methods that he had to cure his patients who had depression, and I'm talking about chronic depression, he would ask them to just go under the sunshine for a few hours a day, believe it or not, and he cured lots of them. Because he knew about the mechanism of brain and how our pineal gland, after getting the sunlight, is gonna trigger some other uh, glands such as hypothalamus, and then our hypothalamus actually is gonna trigger other hormones, um, and you know the serotonin and dopamine, which are the pleasure hormones, are going to be secreted in our bloodstream that makes us feel good. Same thing happens when we eat, and same thing happens actually we eat dark chocolate. So for any of you ladies who, or even guys who like dark chocolate, congratulations. One of the way that you actually can kind of trick your brain is eating dark chocolate. Uh, so, and then blocking the sun has this result, like people get depressed. Once you get depressed, you don't know what to do about this status quo. Because depression is the worst kind of the mode in human psychology. Anger is much better. Anger is more positive than just being depressed. Because when you're depressed, you don't do anything about the status quo. But if you're angry, you might do something about it. You might yell. You might, then somebody might start noticing what you want. So once you're depressed, you don't do anything, and this is happening to our society. Lots of people are just depressed, and then they take their medication, which is not doing anything except make these people, depressed people, docile, and kind of send them to this state of apathy. And it seems like nobody's home. That's why when you present these things to people, I notice, like, it sounds that nobody's home. Uh, and then above that, just altering the weather and thinking, oh, I've been studying this since mid 50s, like, you maximum studied this for half a century. That is the maximum. Studied the weather modification methods. Or no, let's say 1 century. Let's be generous. But you are talking about, if you believe in God, or if you don't believe in Him, it's okay. But you are talking about nature that has, a calculation on its own, and is so precise, and is so, it has been, like, you're competing with billions of years, like of experiment, basically. So if you don't believe in a wise creator, that's okay, because nature by itself has that capability of being wise too. Um, because nature knows when should be spring, when should be summer, when should, even the tornado is for a reason. You say it's bad because it's against our interests, but in reality the tornado is like totally innocent, because uh, if tornado doesn't happen, then something else would go wrong in some other part of the planet. So it's all about balance. Like nature balanced things out for billions of years, uh, and now you are. I mean, they talk about the drought. Okay, so what? What did we do before the creation of the weather modification uh, techniques? We just adopted and adjusted like things. We planned ahead. Like, we stored water, we stored like wheat and crops, whatever. Even in ancient Egypt and like Persia and Greece, Rome, like China, all these countries did that. It's not something new. They knew that there were cycles of drought. Actually, it's very related to astronomy. Yes, astronomy, because what you see, that the salt, it's not just the earth. And I'm not saying that I'm pro air pollution. No, 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 I'm not. And I believe that we could have clean energy, but the same system that wants to tax you and me for the polluted, you know, system and transportation system, uh, prevented of those kind of inventions by geniuses. Like many, many years ago, we could have had electric cars. And right now, like, one of the things that they make fun of is that, you know, electric cars don't run fast and blah, blah, blah. But recently we saw this guy in Oregon, that, that's not true. Actually, it goes faster than the, gas fuel car. Anyway, so they want to, messing around with the weather, like, is gonna cause some sort of problem, and it might actually bring us an ice age. So, as you can see, the World War III already started. Now the question is, do you want this to continue? Do you care about your life, your loved ones, your children and grandchildren, or you just want to be on your comfort zone? Because it's terrifying to believe that you have been treated like cattle and, excuse my language, but sheep and cows. So, uh, and the only reason that they give you a little bit of comfort is to really use you later on. But that's another topic, because someone says, like, how do they want to use us? In many ways, and believe it or not, one of the ways that they can use you is our emotions, because believe it or not, every time human being thinks or have an emotion, falls in love or become angry, you actually beam out some sort of energy from your body. And this is not some sort of like opinion, that has been detected. There are gadgets that can actually show you the energy coming out of your brain, your even fingers. German scientists actually are very good in that. As a matter of fact, they can even predict what kind of disease you might get if you continue this way, or maybe you already have it. They can actually see that through this kind of machines. Anyway, so that's about it for now. Once again, the Echo Man is here. um, I will come back with more information. I want to talk to you about something that I'm working on, and that is the common law. However, because I just started studying that, I have a little bit of knowledge of the common law. I don't want to talk about it this time. Um, I need your help, and I tell you what kind of help. I'm thinking about whoever that knows about common law come forward and educate us. And I want to work on that because, unfortunately, the civil law, the Roman law that we have so far, not gonna help us if we want to bring down those airplanes. If we want them to not to put chlorine and fluoride in our water, we can't go to their judges, because their judges, who are they? Like, they're like legal agency of this big corporation. They're not gonna be on your side, on our side. So we need a different system. Common law is a good thing because it works exactly on jury system, and we talk about it later once I get more information. And yes, I'm about to make a movie about Kevin Annett, who's a pioneer in common laws, and pointing out the crimes that had been done by British royal family, the Canadian, state and government. And recently he's working on few things. One of them is basically bringing those responsible who who are trafficking children, and abusing them and molesting them, to justice, but not the justice that you see, like not this circus that is called court. We're talking about real justice coming from people, and that's why he established the international common law. But he's working on that to basically bring these criminals from Vatican. And again, uh, I have lots of Catholic friends. It's not about Catholic or religion, or no offense to you all. And I love you guys. Like, some of my Catholic friends are the best friends I ever had. We are talking about those morons who represent these nice people. You're talking about that. And of course, royal families, especially the so-called queen, who is responsible for many, many things. This is one of them, pedophilia. And then, obviously, he's working on the chemtrails and the foreclosure, I guess, in South Carolina or something. But anyway, we will talk about it next week. So get ready, educate yourself, Google it up, and check some of the videos that I sent on, this channel, and also on Facebook. Thank you so much for listening. You have a fantastic day. Don't worry, be happy. I say to you.